What is up, guys? It's the Sound Out. I can't point, apparently. It's the Sound Alchemist, and I'm here with
Gershwan.
And today we're back at it to answer more of your questions in another episode of For the Greater.
This is a video series where we answer the questions left by you, the viewer. If you have a question for us, comment down below. Put question in front of your question, because we get those questions first. Sorry about that, guys. This question comes from Alistair Smith. He asks, so thinking about the Jedi versus Space Marines, I realize there are a lot of similarities between the Force and psychic lore mechanics. Also, that hyperspace travel, especially mass shadows, is very similar to the warp travel in 40K. Accounting that Star Wars takes place far in the past in a different galaxy, do you think 40K and Star Wars share the warp? No. Because, well, do you know how faster than light travel how they get faster than light travel in the Star Wars universe?
Not like scientifically, but I mean, no.
Because I don't think there is a warp. I think
It's like the hyperdrive. It's like an actual piece of machinery.
And I think what that does is it just like it's almost the same thing that the Tyranids do, where it kind of bends space.
Well, okay, spoiler alert if you haven't seen the newest movie. So 3, 2, 1, you've been warned. So in the beginning of the movie, you saw them warp jump. Is that what they called it?
I don't think they called it warp jump, no.
But essentially they jumped from like one system to the next, and they did it super like quick.
Right. And
so if they are bending like reality, I would assume they'd have to like get the next position and then shift it, next position, shift it. And I feel like that wouldn't be the case, because if you're just moving reality, like you said, how Tyranids do it, there's going to be a lot of things in the way. But when they like go into the hyperdrive or whatever, it's almost like they're, I don't want to say teleporting, but they kind of like ignore everything in between.
Right.
If that makes sense.
A little bit.
Which it doesn't, because in The Last Jedi, like they used that to like ram the...
Yeah. So I don't really know, and I don't think Star Wars has fleshed out how they have to have.
It's probably out there in a book somewhere.
But no, it's not dissimilar to the warp, which we know a lot of.
Because the warp is essentially like pocket dimension travel.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. So like if you go in there, you are literally surrounded by demons. There is no mention of Star Wars ever having like demons or anything like that.
Geller fields to protect the ships. I mean, yeah, they got force fields, but that's not the same.
Right. So yeah, I hope that answers that question.
Yeah.
Next one.
This one, in the spirit of Christmas, which is over. Hopefully you guys had good Christmases and other holidays that you guys partake in. But this one is by Fraser Steen. His question is, would Saint Nick be a chaos demon in 40K? And if so, to what power would he be aligned? So, he gifts things. Slanesh. Because he got a dick in a box.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like you could see all the chaos gods gift their followers.
Yeah, so I guess
chaos boons.
Yep. But it is about pleasure, though. Like opening a present or even giving presents, it's a pleasure thing, though.
Mm-hmm.
One thing that I was going to mention, though, is that the way the warp works is if you believe something, or you are devoted to something, that coalesces in the warp. Right. Usually it's emotions, but there are like minor gods in the warp, and they manifested because of the worship of certain races. So you could make the argument that all the children that believe in Santa Claus are actually making Santa Claus real. Mm-hmm. Not necessarily like, Santa Claus, but like a coalesce, like the emotions of Christmas and all that kind of stuff is coalescing within the warp, creating Santa Claus. So he would be a demon.
Maybe like, I was about to say Crinkle Mouse, but no, what is it? Krampus.
Krampus, yeah. Yeah, exactly. Just like that. Yep.
You got one?
No.
This one is by Mr. Neutral 01. More of a your thoughts on my theory. Ooh. Well, it's not really a question. It's, like you said, a thought. We can talk about it. So he says, with the introduction of Primaris Marines, it is his theory that they may be the start of bringing the Imperium back to an age of enlightenment, and possibly allowing them to start developing again, and thus allowing the development of new gear, vehicles, etc. for the Imperium. However, part of this theory is that it will cause a rift in the Imperium, leading to either another civil war between the atheists and the God Emperor believers, or possibly leading to the God Emperor believers swaying over to chaos and leading to the birth or empowerment of Chaos God Emperor. I just wanted your thoughts on this theory, as if it would lead to a new age of the Imperium and also the creation of the Emperor as a god.
That's a good theory. I don't think that would really happen because the Primaris are attached to Space Marines, and Space Marines have never worshipped the Emperor. There's only like a couple chapters.
The Black Templars are a big one.
Yeah. But for the majority of Space Marine chapters, understand that the God Emperor was just a really badass guy. But at the end of the day, he was just a guy. He wasn't a god. So Space Marines are already kind of enlightened in that way. The Primaris founding, having it be connected to Call, right? Yeah.
Yeah, Belisarius.
Yeah. And he's been around for 10,000 years too. And he hasn't like created anything. Like he hasn't gone towards the imperial truth. He still believes in the
Omnissiah.
right,
Yeah.
all that good stuff. So no, I unfortunately the Primaris is not what would trigger that, but I do believe that there will be a schism in the future between those who venerate the Emperor and those who want to like hold on to the I wouldn't say non-veneration, but I think like the God Emperor is going to be created. So then it's going to be a situation of like, wait, do we pray to the God Emperor, the real one that lives in the warp and is now a chaos god? And when I say chaos god, I don't mean evil god. I just mean a god created from the turbulent chaos of the warp. Mm-hmm. So it's like neutral. When his situation, he would be the god of order. Then the schism will be like, do we worship that or do we worship the emperor that's on the throne, the corpse emperor? And yeah, we'll see what happens. What do you think?
Yeah, I don't think the Primaris are going to be the first shot fired in this war between the veneration of the emperor and the sticking to like the new ways and the old ways and whatnot. But again, I do think that's where they're alluding to. There is going to be some type of, whether it's civil war, something crazy is going to happen that's going to cause the emperor to either revive or to ascend to godhood. I kind of prefer just the emperor to come back, because having another chaos god and doing all that, I feel like that's already been done with Slaanesh, and especially with all the new Eldar gods like Ennead and all that stuff. But it would be interesting to see how the emperor uses like this prayer and belief system, which has been fueling the saints, the Legion of the Damned, and what he would do with that when he does revive as a regular human. So that'd be interesting to see.
Yeah, we'll see what happens in the future though. I don't think that we're going to get an answer anytime soon.
Right.
I thought we were going to get a Fulgrim model this year. We're not. But yeah. Next question comes from Dintran. If Jeanstealer cults are half man and half Jeanstealer, can there be Chaos Jeanstealer cults? Yeah. So you could have a Jeanstealer cult that turns to Chaos based on like the mutations and stuff, specifically like Nurgle. Like you can have an underhive that is infested by a hive cult, and then the hive cult gets sick because the plagues of Nurgle and stuff like that. So yeah, definitely you can combine. What is that? That would be Imperial Guard, Nurgle, or any Chaos, and Jeanstealers. And then on top of that, you can play Tyranids too. That'd be a really fun army.
Yeah, a lot of it'd almost be like you're playing Unbound, just with more synergy.
Yeah.
And this question is by 111, or maybe it's 11111. What would happen to the Imperium if they set free a bunch of Jakara next to the Golden Throne?
Nothing.
Let's just say that room would be hella dummy thick.
Super dummy thick.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think the Jakara are ever malicious. I don't think that like whenever we hear about Jakara weaponsmiths, they're usually like part of a group of like Inquisitor. What are they called? The Inquisitor.
The Xenologists?
Yeah. Well,
Oh, no.
they're connected to Inquisitors, and they're usually helping.
Yeah.
They're never like malicious. Also, the Emperor's protected. Like, so you have the Golden Throne, but like, he's surrounded by like what is it, 100 or 300 Adeptus Custodes?
No, there's no way the Jakaros would get close to it.
No.
Rip Jakaros.
Right. Next question comes from Giovanni Vinnie. Can humans and abhumans interbreed? No, I don't think they can. And it would be illegal. The Imperium would not want a normal human mating with a beastman or anything like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they could try. But, así es la vida.
Yes. Next one. I have one from Dintran. Can it be possible to tame or control wild Tyranids? Yes. So you have the Tyranids that shoot out their synapse, and then you have the Tyranids that follow the synapse. Without the synapse creature, the Tyranids go back to just like an animalistic state, and that is when you can take over. What is the most basic Jeanstealer dude?
Like rippers, I guess.
Yeah, you could just tame them. The orcs do it all the time. There's some pretty cool kit bashed. I think it's Tyranid and orc like armies that you should check out. But yeah,
It's possible.
Mm-hmm.
Would I want to? Probably not. That's like having a chimp as a pet. I mean, they're cool most of the time, but when they're not, they'll rip your face off.
It's gonna be gross.
Oh no, I had one and it just got taken away.
I have one from Jacob App. How long does it take an Imperial ship to travel from one side of the galaxy to the other? It depends. Because of the craziness of the warp, sometimes what would feel like a couple hours to them might be solar days or years in real space.
Mm-hmm.
So there's no fixed answer.
It's ever changing, like time. All right, so I found it. This one is by... Oh no, I lost it again. Okay, here it is. Unappeasable Emo. If the Eldar have such incredible technology, why is their armor so ineffective? I don't think it's as ineffective as you believe it to be, just because, for one, it's got to be kind of light, because the Eldar in of their race, they're very fast, they're very agile. Having heavy armor would really hinder them. But it also depends on what aspect of Eldar you're talking about, such as like the swooping hawks, the warp spiders, just regular Eldar guardians. But even then, their armor is really cool and really strong. It's just like, usually they're fighting against like space marines, which fire like, depending on what weapons they have, it could be like las cannons. So no matter what type of armor you have, when you're going up against like these like awesome, strong weapons that are meant to like obliterate anything, then yeah, it's gonna seem kind of weak.
Yeah, they do a really good job of leveling the playing field, where like the lore states that Space Marines are like super badass and super powerful. They will also say that like the Eldar are super technologically advanced, but then it gets balanced out by you're looking at two elite players.
Right. Obviously, if you have like a regular guardsman firing the last pistol, like that's just a regular standard weapon. That's not going to do much against pretty much any armored unit. That's why in the tabletop, it's usually like 6s to wound, just to show you that, hey, this weapon, albeit, highly advanced, there are other things that are really great against it.
Right. Those were the questions for today. If you guys have more questions for us, comment down below. If we didn't get to your question, ask again, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.
That's right. This has been the Sound Alchemist.
Gershwan.
And we are out.
Always used to put my freedom first in any situation.